Alright, it's 14 minutes past 11 and it's time for the conversation on WEFM 106.3, the power of talk. So pull up a chair and let's have a chat. I am the conversation starter, Chamun Dabeng, and you're welcome to another edition of We the Society, where we take a hard look at societal issues that affect you and I. Alright, so today is going to be a very special edition on We the Society. Yes, we have a step up from... God of mercy, a rep from Step Up Nigeria joining us today, and her name is Feromi Adeola. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chamun. Good
to
be here.
Always great to have you here. All right, so we also have here with us Nere Orisha Jafo. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chamun.
Now, yesterday I told you guys that we were going to be having some children in the studio with us, and guess what? Yes. Alright, so I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves by themselves. I'm not going to do their introduction for them because you know what? They may be kids, but they're all grown. Alright, so go ahead and introduce yourselves, darling.
My name is Madu Somto.
Alright, Somto, you're welcome to the show. Alright.
My name is Igwe Michelle.
Alright, Michelle, thank you so much for joining us.
My name is Abubakar Fahad.
Alright, Fahad.
My name is Aki Elisama IMD.
Alright, so we have Somto, Michelle, Fahad, and Samuel in the studio with us today. Yes, and I'm pretty excited. Are you guys excited to be here?
Yes, Mom.
Yes. Alright, so Feromi, you're going to do two things for me now. You're going to just refresh our memories on what Step Up is and what your purpose is and why we have these children in the studio with us.
Okay, hello everyone. Good morning. Step Up Nigeria is a creative organization that seeks to change the social norms that drive corruption in Nigeria. We believe that there are value systems that have been passed down from one generation to the other that have allowed corruption to persist for as long as it has. And so we believe that if we groom the next generation of leaders, we're trying to build future leaders that will stand against corruption and choose integrity as a way of life. And so our mission is to get to primary school, secondary school, speak to children about the real cause of corruption in society, and what a society that has people of integrity would look like. Mm-hmm. And if they aspire to that, build people who would build a good society for everyone.
All right. Okay, so why are we here today with these lovely children from Bethel International School?
So today we have 4 students, 2 from Bethel International School primary section and 2 from the secondary section.
Oh, wow.
And we'll be having an on-air debate today. And our debate topic for today would be, as a young person, there is something that I can do to fight corruption. And so Team 1 here will be for the motion, speaking that as a young person, there is things that they can do to stop corruption. And we have another team here telling us, I'm a young person, there's really nothing I can do to stop corruption. So we're going to be hearing from both sides today. It should be a very interesting conversation.
All right. So do we get started?
Yes, I think we can get started.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so Fahad and Samuel, whoever is your chief speaker, please go first. As a young person, there's something you can do to fight corruption. Let's know your thoughts.
Good day everyone, my name is Abubakar Fahad and I'm here on behalf of Bethel International School to support the motion which says, as a young person, there's something I can do to fight corruption. Before I state my point, I'd like to define the meaning of today's debate topic, which is corruption. This is an illegal or immoral act performed by a citizen or an individual, especially someone who is in power. Corruption can be regarded as a crime involving smuggling, bribery, and embezzlement. I state my points. 1. Protesting. This is a legitimate right that is given to every citizen of a nation. Protesting doesn't mean to destroy government properties or kill innocent people. It means to relate with the government so as for the government and the citizen to benefit from the decision made by Nigeria at large. 2. Preaching. This is a civil means where citizens educate themselves for them to understand the basics, the causes, and the solutions in order to eradicate corruption from our society. And I believe preaching will help to improve the economical standard and way of life. 3. Cooperation. Being a cooperative citizen has to do with trust, patriotism, integrity, and obedience. Once you found out that you have all these attributes, most surely you can be able to cooperate with your fellow citizens and you'll be able to understand how corruption came in and how to eradicate it from our society. Furthermore, create strong institutions. The government should create strong institutions so as to educate others, for them to understand why corruption is in our society, and understand why we need to work together hand in hand for us to get our equal benefits and shares from everyone. And if everyone has their own benefits, there will not be something like corruption in our society. More so, fighting corruption is not a one-man job. How can one man be able to stand before corruption and think he can be able to eradicate it from our society? It is impossible. To fight corruption, we need various people, like the stakeholders, the anti-corruption groups, the anti-corruption agencies, and other people need to stand by your side for them to understand why we need to work hand in hand so that we can be able to eradicate it from our society. Furthermore, I hope with these few points of mine I've been able to convince you and not confuse you on the topic. As a young person, there's something I can do to fight corruption. Thank you.
Ooh, thank you very much, Fahad. That was a, introduction with a boom.
Wow.
He wasn't playing around. He's like, I'm coming through for this.
Yes. Okay. So we're gonna get the chief speaker for Group 2. As a young person, so you're saying there is nothing that you can do to stop corruption. Why is that?
Well, good day everyone. My name is Madu Sonto and I am here on behalf of Bethel International School. Opposing the motion, this is that as a young person there is not something I can do to fight corruption. Before I firstly state my point, I would like to define the meaning of corruption. Corruption can be defined as a fraudulent or dishonest act carried out by those in power, typically involving bribery. Here I go with my point. Money. As the biblical quotation says, money is the root of all evil. As a young person, I don't have any rate of expenditure or money that is usually spent by the government. Therefore, there's no way I can keep rate of the government on how they spend their money and expose any abusers. Secondly, council supplies. Not all schools are giving textbooks, lab equipment, and classroom necessities. Because in most public schools, they are not initially giving textbooks or lab necessities. Most public schools, they don't even have chairs to sit down. They don't really have chairs to sit down. Thirdly, going into theater and drama. Going into theater and drama. By using theater and drama, children who go on stage, some of them don't go on stage because they have developed a certain phobia having stage fright, or they have the urge that when they go on stage, they certain feel in their mind that they will get humiliated. Furthermore, drawing comics and cartoons. As most people say, comics are a powerful way of raising awareness in our society. Because I am here opposing that there is no way comics are good, because a child who has an upcoming exam on the following day, like tomorrow, can't just say he wants to go and start reading comics. Because his or her parents won't actually allow the child. Or are you trying to say that adults or parents who have other necessities to carry out should go and start reading comics or watching cartoons? There is no way, because they have other things to do. With these few points of mine, I believe I've been able to convince you, but not to confuse you, that as a young person, it's something I can do to fight corruption.
Thank you very much, Somto.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going back to team 1. Second speaker, please. Samuel.
Standing on the existing principles, my name is Akinle Samuel IMD. I'm here on behalf of Bethel International School, and I'm also here to propose the notion which states that as a young person, there's something I can do to fight corruption. Before I state my point, I would like to define the main word in today's debate topic, which is corruption. Corruption as a word is an immoral, illegal behavior for someone, especially in power. But corruption is not only based on those with power, it is based on our individual life. Because if our individual life is free from corruption, the country will be free from corruption. For instance, if 99% of individuals in this country are free from corruption, the country will be free from corruption, because it's some individuals, governors are selected, presidents are selected, also senators are also selected, and this will help to curb the spread of corruption in Nigeria. Here are my points. Firstly, How as a person can fight corruption by joining a group that disapproves corruption. If a person with a sense of integrity is given an opportunity to join any of these societal group, religious group, labor group, or NGO, this country will be safer for us to live. For instance, just look at what happened many days back. A group of people came out in unity to decide what they want and not what the government wants, because democracy is practiced in Nigeria. And according to Abraham Lincoln's definition of democracy, democracy is government by the people, for the people and of the people. That's why they came out to decide what they want and not what the government wants. Secondly, implementation of laws. If laws are implemented, the rate of corruption will become from the nation. For instance, if a law is implemented that anyone found in the embezzlement of money should be imprisoned, and the person is caught in it, it will serve as a lesson to others, and this will help to eradicate the rate of corruption in Nigeria. Thirdly, as a person can fight corruption through the use of theatre and drama. Theatre and drama is a powerful way of raising awareness through acting. For instance, young ones who can act a move against corruption, and this will help to enlighten them. My fellow opponents say that there are some children that develop phobia. But it's not only through theatre and drama, we can also use prayer to fight corruption. More so, uses of drawing. Drawing, you can get creative by taking an anti-corruption drive on stage. For instance, young ones who can draw are talented in drawing can draw a movie with the combination of, can draw a comics with the combination of image and text, which might go viral, and this will help to enlighten the nation about the effect of corruption in Nigeria. Furthermore, to fight corruption, there needs to be good leadership. If there is good leadership, there will be tendency that there will be good government. Leadership should not be based on one ethnic group. But Nigeria is still practicing the colonial style, which is not right, and we say we are independent. Marginalization should not be practiced in Nigeria. If we are given a particular post, how do we handle it? Do we lead it right or we mislead it? Before we talk about the governmental institution. Furthermore, raising awareness through sports. Handball, volleyball, football, or lawn tennis. For instance, as a person, when I score a goal, I can raise a banner of awareness to people, for people to see. Just look at our favorite footballer, Osimhen. When he scored for Napoli, he raised a banner of awareness that they should end SARS. I hope with this report of mine, I'll be able to convince you and not to confuse you that as a young person, there's something I can do to fight corruption.
Thank you very, very much, Samuel.
Thank you for that, Samuel. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
The debate is getting very heated at this point.
Like, they came through like, yes, I read my books and I wrote my things down, so don't play with me today.
Okay.
All right.
So next we move to the second speaker from Group 2, who is also saying there's really nothing as a young person that she can do to stop corruption. Michelle, please go ahead.
Standing on existing protocol, my name is Igwe Michelle, and on behalf of Bethel International School, I'm here to oppose the motion we said as a young child there is something I can do to fight corruption. Before I state my point, I would like to define the key word for today's debate, which is corruption. Corruption is an illegal or dishonest act mostly undertaken by someone who is in power. I state my point. Firstly, corruption, there's no way we can fight corruption as children. It is very difficult for we as children to be seen in the society when we have our leaders who should handle or curb corruption from our society. So we as children have little or nothing to do in fighting corruption. Secondly, corruption is a wastage of time. So right from our first president down to the current president, they have not still been able to fight corruption. Statistics show that the greatest country, they have not still been able to fight corruption. That just to show that no matter how much they try to fight corruption, corruption will always be there. Thirdly, my opponent, Samuel Akinyele, said that we can fight corruption by the use of comics, storybooks and cartoons, but I disagree with that, because in order to use that, a lot of money will be spent. For instance, if I want to create awareness now and I said to make 50 copies of anti-corruption storybooks for the students in my class, it will not still be, I have to use a lot of money. I can be higher than the budget of my parents. Fourthly, repetition. My opponent protest. My opponent said that through the use of protest we can be able to fight corruption, but I disagree with that. The protest that passed few weeks ago, the EndSARS protest that passed few days ago, a lot of people were killed. So do you expect me as a child to go there so they also kill me, and then being the only daughter of my family, do you want me to be killed there? Hope with these few points of mine I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you as a young child. There's nothing I can do to fight corruption in my society. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Ooh, Michelle. Okay. So we're going back to group one for your concluding statements. This is the last time your group has. Do both of you have something to say, or just one person is prepared? Okay, so so the final argument from group one as to why you think as a young person there's something you can do to stop corruption. You have 3 minutes. Go.
Here I am back on my feet as the second speaker of the proposing team. My fellow opponents say that if the men want to fight corruption through the use of cattle, there's much budgeting. But that's not the only way we can fight corruption. Prayer can be done in anywhere, even though it's in your house toilet, or when you're sleeping. I disagree with that point because prayer is a fast means of communicating with God, be it traditional worshipper, Muslim or Christian. And also my fellow opponents say through protest. If we use theater and drama, can anyone kill us? No, because we are saved. And there's no way we will harm ourselves. I hope with this people of mine, I'll be able to convince you and not to confuse you that as a young person, there's something that can do to fight corruption.
Okay, Fahad.
Here I am back on my feet to round up my points. First and foremost, my fellow opponents said that the protesting that happened many days back, so many people's lives were lost. I disagree with that point because it wasn't anybody's fault. These citizens came out in unity and they coordinated themselves accordingly so that they can be able to decide what they want and not what any other person wants them to do. Because protesting is a civil right. Every citizen has the right to protest in their community. If not protesting, they can be able to preach. Preaching will not give them any harm, and they will be able to live comfortably and educate other citizens. Then they will be able to fight corruption in our society. Secondly, believe in yourself. To fight corruption, you need to have trust in yourself. You don't need to rely on other people because you need to become self-reliant. You need to understand how you need to undertake corruption from your small age, because corruption can start at any stage. Even in your schools, corruption can start anywhere, because if somebody is given to write the names of noisemakers in the class and someone else is his friend, he can come and say, if you don't take my name out from the noisemakers list, I will not be your friend. The person will become tempted and then he'll obviously cancel his name out. That is corruption starting from schools. I hope with these 3 points of mine I've been able to convince you and not confuse you on the topic